Want five-star service from a financial institution you can trust? Whitney Bank has you covered with nearly 200 locations across the Gulf South. So stop by today. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com. Member FDIC.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Business First Bank, with locations throughout the state, including 11 offices in the Baton Rouge area, providing personal and commercial banking, treasury management, and wealth solution services to help clients succeed. Business First Bank, banking with greater momentum.
From Mansurs on the Boulevard in Baton Rouge, we're out to lunch with the editor of the Baton Rouge Business Report, Stephanie Riegel. It's business, Baton Rouge style.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Riegel. Welcome to Out to Lunch. We may have heat and mosquitoes in Baton Rouge, but we're also blessed to have beautiful surroundings and lush greenery everywhere. Much of the old growth and verdant landscaping is a natural part of the flora and fauna here in South Louisiana, but much of it is cultivated through hard work and attention to detail. How do you build a better garden? My guest today can share some tips and also tell us how they're building a business based around landscaping and gardening. Our first guest is Mitch Mayes, owner of Louisiana Nursery, which was established by Mitch's father more than 33 years ago and today has 3 thriving locations around Baton Rouge. Louisiana Nursery specializes in gardening, lawn care, and outdoor living, and recently introduced 3 climate-controlled greenhouses at its Perkins Road location. Mitch, we want to hear about what makes these greenhouses so special and how they give Louisiana Nursery a competitive edge. So welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
My next guest is a gardener with a different mission and purpose. She is Allison Guidroz, owner of Fullness Organic Farm, which grows fresh organic produce on a half-acre plot that was the site of the Old Longwood Plantation off Nicholson Drive near Gardere Lane. Allison and her husband Grant started the farm, and today they grow seasonal vegetables, which they then sell at the Red Stick Farmers Market, as well as to the local restaurants and even online. So, Allison, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Mitch, I'm going to come back to you for a minute. And Louisiana Nursery, love talking about family-owned businesses. You're the second generation. What made you want to follow in your father's footsteps, or did you have any say-so in the matter?
Yes, I did. I mean, obviously my dad started the business when I was in high school. He came from a corporate retail background for 25 years. And, you know, at first it was just a good job for high school and then college. And then as time went on, I just started liking it more and more. I just got into it. My dad never forced me into it. He was very open-minded about it. It just kind of, through evolution, I started loving retail. And that's kind of how it started.
So y'all have 3 huge stores there, more than 2 acres each?
Yes.
How many different varieties of plants and flowers do you have?
Stephanie, that's one good question. I know it's thousands. It literally may be at some point, if you counted everything we get in a year, every different cultivar, could be tens of thousands. So it's a lot. There's a lot of varieties out there now.
Where do they come from? Do y'all have a nursery up in the country somewhere, like I know some of them around here do?
No, we do not grow at all. Many years ago we used to grow. We realized that growing was not our thing. So what we do is, over the years, through relationships with both color growers, shrub growers, and so forth, basically they grow it for us. It used to be a contract grow. Now we don't have a contract. They come to us ahead when they need to know. When we say, what do you want us to grow? We say, this is what we want you to grow in these quantities. So
different suppliers.
Absolutely. So yeah, we have some local growers that do that, and we have some regional, not national growers. We buy from some national growers, but we buy. Those growers are in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what is the market like here competitively?
Well, it's overall nationwide and also in Baton Rouge. The lawn and garden industry is a very healthy market. What I mean by that is the total dollars nationwide done in lawn and garden is close to 50% box stores and close to 50% independently owned garden centers. Mm-hmm. It may sway time to time one way or the other, but it's a very healthy market. Obviously, like all markets, there's been peaks and valleys. In the Baton Rouge market, our recession was 11, 12, and 13. Customers seemed to pull back on disposable income, and they weren't as motivated as they were before. Nationwide, the recession was a lot longer than that. We were lucky in Baton Rouge. in actually South Texas and South Louisiana, where the recession was much shorter. Customers are very motivated right now. They're very
people
they're
are
spending
buying.
money. Absolutely.
Now, tell us about the greenhouses that I mentioned, because that was a big deal for y'all, and what makes them so unique?
Well, Stephanie, our Perkins location, we've been needing to upgrade the greenhouse, the color greenhouses a long time, and I just kind of.
And when you say color, you mean
annuals,
flowers.
perennials, flowers,
Okay.
all that type of stuff. And we needed to upgrade that a long time ago. I just kind of drug my feet on it. So finally, when I finally said, okay, we got to do something, we kind of went all the way. So we really hired maybe the best national greenhouse company, actually international company, and we had them build a state-of-the-art greenhouse. And really, it's just a much more beautiful facility. But when it comes to cutting edge or state-of-the-art, it has a computerized weather station. It knows the temperature, the wind, the humidity, the sun foot candles all the time, and it will adjust the vents, the fans, the shade cloth, and so forth, even the sides coming up, depending on the weather conditions. So it's better for people that are in there, the shoppers and our employees, but it's also much better for plants.
That is fantastic. Well, speaking of unique, Allison, your whole business model is unique, and in these parts, an organic farm in the middle of the city. You and your husband were both farmers. How did you come to this idea?
Well, I'd have to say it started while we were at LSU. We both graduated from LSU. My husband, Grant, started in finance, and we started LSU in 2007. So there was a big financial crash.
Right.
And so we just started thinking, being able to grow your own food for yourself and your friends and family just became something where it's like, it will always have value. There's not a lot of people doing it here. And it fit us. I didn't know growing up this is what I was going to do, but it fits both of us really well.
What were you studying at the time?
I started out biology and then switched to psychology. So I guess it helps us, but I was able, with psychology, there was a lot of electives, so I took a lot of horticulture classes, got involved with community gardens in Old South Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And so kind of got involved in it that way. And while in college, we had a business putting in organic raised beds for people too. So
you sort of learned as you went.
Definitely.
What are you growing on the farm?
So we specialize and focus on growing spring mix, baby greens, herbs, edible flowers, and microgreens. But we grow, similar to you, we have a really wide variety of things that we grow. It varies throughout the season. We grow a lot of different types of each thing. So now we have a lot of tomatoes and peppers and eggplant and squash and cucumbers and all that kind of thing too, but we're still trying to maximize the time that we can grow our spring mix and the things that we really specialize in. We try to grow it as much of the year as possible.
And so it's just been sort of trial and error and sort of just feeling out the seasonality and the market demand?
Working on other farms was really helpful for us as far as developing our idea and our business model about what we wanted to grow. So the first farm we worked on was Inglewood. It's in Alexandria, and so Grant would come down to Baton Rouge and sell at the farmers market, and so through that we got a really good idea about what the market wanted, what the people wanted. Organic was a really big thing. Things that were washed and ready, that's kind of differentiates us, that all of our products we wash. So we feel like if people are already coming to the market on Saturday morning, buying from a local farmer, choosing organic, the least we can do is have it ready for them.
Wonderful. So the greens are already washed and ready to go.
That's right.
Because that soil grit that you sometimes get on those great
it's tough to get out.
It's tough to get out.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So you sell at the Red Stick Farmers
That's
Market.
right.
We know that. Are you selling to restaurants directly yet?
Yes. So
wonderful.
We started right off the bat. Elton and Randy at Nino's.
Oh, they're great.
I mean, he has my invoice number 1 is to Elton at Nino's, and so they've been supporting us from the get-go. And now that we've added on a few more restaurants, so we've started selling to the Merchant, to Lasane's.
Excellent.
And so, but our real focus was to get the people at the farmers market fulfilled. We want to make sure we filled out that market before we spread ourselves too thin.
Sure. And then what about local supermarkets? Some of the AG stores, are they carrying y'all?
Not yet, but we do sell through Indie Plate. which
yes. That's great.
They buy from local farms. They put the availability online, and then customers can go online, order. There's no minimum order, free delivery.
How do you make a living off of half an acre?
Good question. It is our sole income.
Is the jury still out on this question?
But that was our goal from the get-go, was to have a business. And so, like all businesses, part of it is keeping your costs down, and we've really focused on growing the most profitable crops. So like our spring mix, you can grow a large quantity in a small amount of space. It's a quick crop, so in 30 days you can seed it. We get a harvest of microgreens in 2 weeks. We harvest our first spring mix cutting, and we usually get 2 to 3 cuttings off of it. And so anyway, in a 50-foot row, we can grow about over the whole cutting, probably about 75 pounds of greens. And so, so focusing on the really profitable crops and tightly managing how we run the farm. And also, it's just the two of us.
So you don't have a lot of labor.
Don't have a lot of labor. We keep our costs down, and we don't have a lot of, we just have a 2-wheel tractor, not a big tractor, and everything is just appropriately scaled for our size.
And for now, eventually, I suppose the hope would be to grow to an extent.
To an extent. So we've cleared out some land, and we'll be doubling production in the fall, and we just bought some greenhouses as well, which will not as sophisticated as yours. I'm jealous, but that'll definitely increase the quality and quantity we're able to grow and extend our seasons.
I mean, I love both of these businesses, family agrarian businesses, and back to basics. I mean, the real roots of sustainability of our existence. But technology today is so important in what you do. What kind of role does that play, and how up to speed are we in this market, with having the latest and what you really need to guard against, I guess, pests and climate change and everything?
I'll start there and say, first of all, individually, I'm not a technology person, but I will say that technology, as all businesses, is very important for us. We have, for example, our point-of-sale system at our stores, our checkout system and everything is the best in our industry. It's very expensive, but I happen to be a big numbers person, so the information we're able to extract out of it real time, all the time, is unbelievable. In the world today, in any business you're in, if you are not, moving forward on technology, then you're moving backwards because everybody else is moving forward. So it is essential. Even our consumers want to check out quickly. Convenience is a big deal. They want to be accurate. We can look into our system, and I can everything's there for me to find out, depending on how I want to look at it, but it's essential for us.
Yeah. We use a point of sale system that at the farmers market, check people out on an iPad. It's just a Square app. I mean, it's really simple, but at the end of the day, I can get a report and know exactly how many bags of kale I sold.
That's great.
See the high points in the market. I thought, just thinking about the market, I thought that at 8 o'clock was the biggest rush, but no, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Yeah, and so we want to make sure we have the product there when people are coming. And so it gives us all that information that's invaluable for making decisions.
I was going to add on to something, not about technology, but about edibles and about her business. I will tell you 2 things important. One, from 07 through 13, even into 14, when there was a big lawn and garden recession, where consumers over a 5-year, 6-year span.
It was that long.
Yeah, nationally it was that long. And lawn and garden total revenue done by box stores and independent garden centers went down 20% over that span.
No
but
kidding.
I will say that the one category that exploded during that time was edibles. Just like she said, everything else went down, but people started growing their own
Was it
food.
Because they were financially strapped, or because they felt the need to reconnect to the basics? And
I think that's it. I think people pull back on some of the luxuries, but they say, we could grow our own edibles, and it's going to be more reasonably priced, and it's going to be really good, taste good. Another thing about it that's also important, especially for us and for you, is that millennials, if you ask the question, what topic interests you in lawn and garden, and the number one answer way up here and second place is down here is edibles. The edibles is their thing. So it is very important to us. Obviously, it's very important to her, and it is definitely the future of both our industries.
Y'all have increased the amount of edible, products that you carry?
Immensely.
Really?
We probably today, compared to 10 years ago, probably do 3 times the revenue in edibles than we used to. Maybe
That's
4 times.
so interesting. Well, I want to continue with this, but first, just to change gears for a minute and do what we call the checklist. It's that part of the show where I ask you each a quick question that you probably wouldn't find on a loan application. So, Allison, I'll start with you. What really drives your business?
For us, we really focus on getting our customers the best quality food that we can. So for us, that means we really focus on the soil and the minerals that are in our soil, how we grow it, because the minerals that are in your soil then translates, they're in your food. Mm-hmm. And so our goal is to grow the most nutrient-dense food that we can for our friends and family. And so that's what quality is, our main focus.
Yeah. And the soil quality out at the Longwood site is very good.
It is one of our best assets. So we're so close to the river that we have the old alluvial river silt. So we've seen the soil tests from all the farms we worked on, and when we got the soil test in, the mineral content is not double, it's 5 times what was on any other any other farm that we worked on, which you only have your soil only has so much potential. So we're just starting in a better place, and then the soil's holding capacity, it's called the cation exchange, but it's the ability of the soil to hold more minerals is extremely high. So if we do add more minerals to the soil's able to take it in, make it available for the plants, so it then translates into the nutrients that are in your plants.
That is so fascinating. All right, well, Mitch, here's a checklist question for you. How has your management style evolved over time?
Wow, it definitely has evolved. I would say, as I said, my father started our business when I was in high school. So obviously as time went on, I learned a lot with a capital A from my father. And my father, obviously being a different generation than me, his style was he was very intelligent in our business. He knew retail really well because he was in it, as I said, in corporate retailing in a past life, I say. So now, I didn't know it was called that then, but now I call it micromanage. He basically told our people, we need to do this. This is because, this is the reason how we do it, and they did what he said. And that's how he built our business, and in turn, I learned a lot from him. So that's the way, I guess, I managed for a long time. But as we grew, and as I, read a lot of things and saw a lot of other businesses operate, we realized that, we're not that's not the long-term answer.
Yeah.
So as time evolved, basically, and especially now because I took over the business about 7 years ago, I talk to my decision makers, my management. We talk about results. We talk about what the plan is, but really, I let them make decisions.
That's great.
So and we've been on that. It's a long evolution, and it's a long plan to make happen, but we've come a long ways, and we have some really good people, and of course sometimes you make bad decisions, but that's how you learn.
I wanted to ask you about your workforce because they do seem very knowledgeable. Do they have degrees in horticulture, or is it a variety of people? Is it just experience they learn by doing?
A few of the people we have degrees, but I would tell you that and we hadn't talked about that, but really the secret to our success at Louisiana Nursery 100% is our employees. It's almost an anomaly. We have one of the most tenured, experienced, not just retail gardeners in the United States. I would argue some of the most experienced, tenured employees in the whole country in retail. Our 3 store managers have been with us 34, 30, and 29 years.
Wow.
We have 25 people with us over 15 or 20 years.
That's great.
We just had a girl left us to move back to Texas to take care of her parents, was with us 19 years. It's pretty incredible. So we have most people just learned it on the job experience, people that love plants and love people and learned at the stores.
Now, I know y'all's business is very sort of cyclical or seasonal, I guess, because of the weather, and this would be a boom time. Spring, summer are very busy, and then I guess in the summer it gets really hot. What do you do when it's hot and dry and the vegetables aren't growing as well or the flowers start to wither?
Yeah, our business is, to give you a quick business model, we make money 4.5 months a year.
Is that it?
We make money March, April, May, late November, December.
Yeah.
The rest of the year, June and October are kind of break-even months, give or take, and the other 6 months of the year we lose we lose a lot of. January is.
It's
if
dead,
I show you my
huh?
financials, you would say, but it's just the way it goes. It's really cyclical, as you said. So we have to do as well as we can during the busy times, and then we have to just go as lean and try to lose the least amount of money as we can.
So you're losing money some months, you're breaking even 2 months, and then you have to make enough money those other 4 months to make the whole year
Correct.
profitable.
And for us, in May, after Mother's Day, the business begins to go down. Since Mother's Day, the business since before is down about 25%, which is natural.
Right.
Starts getting warmer, starts getting too hot, and a lot of people, it starts getting hot, they don't want to do yard work, or a lot of people are in the back of their mind looking for excuses not to do that project outside, not to cut the grass. So, rain is a good excuse, and too hot
And it
is
is true. It does start to rain a lot. It gets hot, and then if you're doing a vegetable garden or a flower garden, you're supposed to plant in the spring, right, and not in the summer.
If you're doing a spring crop, fall crop, you would plant late summer for fall, which obviously she could tell you more than I could on that.
Well, Allison, how do y'all cope when the weather gets bad? I know when I go to the farmers market in August, it's depressing.
Pretty lean. Yeah. So we're actually going to structure in where we take a break. So up north, people take a break in the winter. Winter growing here is amazing for vegetables. The bugs are really low, diseases. It's just easy growing, and so we really capitalize on the cool season crops. And so we're actually, even as we're planting now, we've actually put in all of our crops that we'll have for the summer, and we'll just kind of ride it out and build in, taking probably about a month off in the farm. Probably August, like you're saying, because it's just hard on us, hard on the crops. And really, it's good for your soil to rest. It's good for the farmers to rest, just to take some time, think about the year, come back with a good plan for the next year, and then hit it hard. We think of our year starting about when school starts.
I know not only in the olden days, but today with commercial agriculture, you will have bad years when you have floods or late winters or something like that. Is there any way around it at your small gardening level? Is there any way to protect against that?
We do. We have we do several different methods to so. For us to stay on schedule, we plant every Monday. So we plant our spring mix and our baby greens every Monday.
Every Monday?
That's because we're harvesting every week. So we need to have the fresh crops coming on. So we use a lot of different techniques to stay on schedule. We use old Lamar billboards that we'll bring out over our beds to just keep them dry. So if there's a heavy rain, then we can't work the soil, we can't plant. So we'll bring those out to keep the soil dry. And then if it's going to rain really hard, we don't have our greenhouses yet, but that's what we'll do. We'll use the greenhouses a lot, but now we use what's called a low tunnel. So
low tunnel, okay.
So we've bent, it's actually EMT, electrical piping. So we've bent this pipe that'll fit over 2 beds, and then we put a fabric over it so that it's really for the heavy rains to protect the baby green. So, when you have our rains here are just, it's almost like you're getting hail or something, you know what I mean? It's really
so torrential.
Yeah, it's really hard on the crop. So the fabric that we use still allows some moisture to get through, but it basically just dissipates the drop, so it kind of comes into the crops.
So
it's like
it
a fine
bruise
mist.
their leaves. And
Exactly.
So this is based on research that y'all have done or technology used elsewhere?
Right.
You're not just making it up.
Right. There was a really influential book that we read while we were at a farm in Arkansas called The Market Gardener by a guy, his name is Jean Martin, in Canada. And he uses a lot of these techniques. We adjusted it for our, Canada and South Louisiana have very different challenges. But so we've taken things that we've learned on farms, things that we've read in books, things we've seen on other farms maybe that we hadn't worked on but just visited, and kind of combined them in our own way to make it work for us here.
That's so great. Mitch, what are your long-term goals for Louisiana Nursery, and where do you hope to be in 5 years?
Wow, in 5 years. We used to have 4 stores. We closed an old location about 3 years ago on Florida Boulevard. We did, my father and I actually just purchased a piece of commercial property last fall in Livingston Parish. So that will be a future site of ours over by Jubin.
Oh, excellent.
I would say that 4 stores is going to be my limit. I'm not looking to rule the world. You know, as she talked about early on, better's better, not bigger's not better. And the bigger you are, it is just harder and harder to be as good as you can be. And I feel like overall we have made a lot of progress in how we operate our business and all the things that we do, especially if I look back 10, 15, 20 years ago. I look back and say, oh my God, what were we thinking then?
Yeah.
You know? But we still got a long ways to go. And we're, especially the last few years, we're really kind of, the metabolism of some of the changes we're making are pretty quick. But I would say 4 locations in and around Baton Rouge and Denham and Ascension Parish. And actually my goal in life, and we just had a meeting with some of my people about this, you know, my goal in life is not make as much money as I can make. My goal in life is to have a business that I'm proud of, which I am, and have a lot of employees that are happy and love our business. And that makes me happy. So that's what my goals are.
I'm so glad to hear that. What about you, Allison? Is Fullness Organic Farm a one-off deal, or do you hope to expand, grow beyond a half acre?
Yeah, we think of getting to about 1.5 acres at this location. We've thought a lot about basically having a model that can be replicated. So developing this small-scale, efficient model that we can do. I mean, when you just think about South Louisiana, the market in New Orleans is insatiable. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
crazy. Lafayette, between those 3 cities, there's a huge demand and not a whole lot of producers. And so we think about developing a model that works really well and kind of spinning off people. I don't know how it'll look, you know, but we think about getting this one really tightly managed, maybe training somebody up to manage it, and then we can go and start another farm. Maybe another farm in Baton Rouge.
Maybe franchise it.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. So
Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for, but Mitch Mayes and Allison Guidroz, you're both helping to make Baton Rouge a better looking place and a healthier place to live, and it's great that you can pursue your passion and support yourself at it while enhancing the local quality of life. So thanks for sharing your stories today on Out to Lunch.
thank you so much.
My guests today on Out to Lunch have been Mitch Mayes of Louisiana Nursery and Allison Guidroz of Fullness Organic Farm. You can find out more about Louisiana Nursery and Fullness Organic Farm by following the links on our website. It's batonrouge.la and wrkf.org. Today's show was recorded live over lunch at Mansurs on the Boulevard in Baton Rouge. Mansurs is open for lunch daily from 11 to 2, for dinner nightly, and for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. The producer of our show is Grant Morris. Our technical producer is Eric Merle. Our associate producer is Peter Raschuti. And our Baton Rouge business consultants are Charlie D'Agostino and Ann Edelman. You can see photos from this show on itsbatonrouge.la and on our Facebook page. These photos are taken by Ken Stewart. Mitch Foreman wrote and performs all the music on Out to Lunch. Mitch's latest album, Puzzle, is out now. You can find out more about that at mitchellforeman.com. You can get this show as a podcast, you can listen to past shows, and you can keep up with us on all kinds of social media by going to our websites, it's batonrouge.la and wrkf.org. Out to Lunch is a production of INO Broadcasting for It's Batonrouge.la and WRKF 89.3 FM. I'm Stephanie Riegel. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the table here at Mansurs for more business Baton Rouge style on Out to Lunch.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com, and by Business First Bank, with locations throughout the state, including 11 offices in the Baton Rouge area, providing personal and commercial banking, treasury management, and wealth solution services to help clients succeed. Business First Bank, banking with greater momentum.
Want 5-star service from a financial institution you can trust? Whitney Bank has you covered with nearly 200 locations across the Gulf South. So stop by today. Learn more at HancockWhitney.com. Member FDIC.